Father Chancellor, Father President, College of Fellows and Trustees, professors, and friends. When Father Michael Sweeney asked me if I would give the student address, I was overwhelmed with gratitude that I would have the opportunity to say a few words on behalf of the student body. The sense of gratitude was an occasion for me to reflect on all that we have been given at the Dominican School of Philosophy and Theology. On behalf of the student body, I thank you, Father Michael Sweeney, for your many years of service, leadership, and vision. The school would not be what it is today without this vision, coupled with the courage and tenacity to see it through. We thank you, professors, for your constant guidance and tutelage. Your sincere care for us and generosity toward us is not only nurturing, it is inspiring. Your care for us students is first evidence of your own personal goodness and human attention, but most importantly, evidence of a deep love for your discipline, a love that is contagious, a love that, as it grows, generates a greater desire for more knowledge. So we thank you, professors, for your selfless quest for truth. A quest for truth that is not only self-forgetful, but because the mind is so enraptured by the beauty of that truth, it is self-transcending, and in that very transcendence, self-fulfilling. On behalf of the Dominican brothers, I thank the Western Dominican province for affording us the opportunity and the privilege to study philosophy and theology, for allowing us, brothers, to leave the world of utility and efficiency and to stay in the realm of study and contemplation, to rest in the meditation of truth and to allow that contemplation to grow with the help of grace into a greater union with God. The sense of gratitude was then an occasion for me to reflect on the question, why? Why is the study of philosophy and theology at the DSPT so important? Why is such a study that could scarcely return any financial success or utilitarian value so invaluable in and of itself? In asking this question, I could not help but reflect on one experience from my own life that might shed light on an answer. This was an event that happened to me when I was 13 years old. I was preparing for confirmation in a non-Catholic community and was studying the teachings of that particular religious group. Being interested in the topic of religion, I was filled with questions regarding the Christian faith. Some the nature of God, some the church, some salvation. But always, why? At some point, my line of questioning crossed a threshold into which the teacher was either uncomfortable going or unable to enter with answers. And this is certainly not uncommon for those who teach teenagers. But what I distinctly remember is the answer given to me as a definitive terminus to my line of questioning. You know, Brad, he said, at root we can't really understand the faith. What we have to do is just believe. And something inside my heart sank at that very moment. I remember feeling a deep dissatisfaction with that answer. After all, Brad, he continued, if we could understand it, it really wouldn't be faith anymore, would it? I couldn't articulate it at the time. I couldn't put words as to why I felt so unsatisfied with that answer. But something in my soul knew that that was the wrong answer. I distinctly remember a shallow feeling at the root of my gut and a subsequent gnawing instinct, however unarticulated it might have been at 13, that that answer was just wrong. As I only later came to realize, I was saddened first by what that answer revealed about me and about this faith that I was supposed to have. And next, I was saddened by what that answer revealed about this God that I was supposed to believe in. Regarding myself, this meant that there was something about me, some aspect of my person, to which God was inaccessible. If I were to approach God, some essential part of me, that is my mind, could not join the journey. Real faith would only begin where my reason ends or where I deliberately cast it off. And regarding my relationship to God, this meant that the gulf between what God is in himself and what I so desired to know about him would be forever and hopelessly empty. Some created gaping hole in the cosmos, where my heart so wanted something, which was evidenced by my curiosity, this God only responds with nothing. Recalling that sadness, that screamed wrong answer, and the subsequent demand for a right answer, is a great clue for me as to why what we do at the DSPT is so important. Living and studying in Berkeley, California, I have often had the opportunity to talk with college students about the topic of God, faith, or religion. What I generally hear coming from the lips of secular youth can be summed up in 3 words: uncertainty, doubt, and despair. There's uncertainty, doubt, and despair. In general, contemporary secular people explicitly hide behind the first, implicitly default to the second, and as a result have so long been drowning in the third that they have forgotten that truth is like the fresh air for the mind, and a failure to come up for an occasional breath will only result in certain death. Regarding religion, contemporary people have adopted a universal skepticism. Skepticism of all creeds, all traditions, and certainly all authority. Even though the mind so desires to fill this cosmic hole with content, let's just resign ourselves to the fact that ultimate truth does not exist. Even if ultimate reality, God, truth, did exist, we would never know it. And even if we could know it, at that point, language itself would play its trump card and render that truth inexpressible, incommunicable to another, and certainly unteachable to another. In the face of this reality, in the face of this doubt, what's the only reasonable posture? Well, truth must be whatever you want it to be. The person is a self-enclosed atom in a world of his own. If the mind asks ultimate questions about reality, it is merely throwing questions like stones into an abyss. There's no echo coming back because there's nothing there for the questions to hit. The person does not exist along with others in a common medium or nature that can be known, that can reveal itself and can unite us. No, not in a world of doubt. If the mind seeks truth, it is merely staring into the void of an empty room, and there is nothing staring back. Moreover, there is no one staring back. I don't know for sure, but I have a strong sense that this universal doubt that has plagued our age, although secular, is strikingly similar to that sense of sadness that I felt when I was 13, and I heard the message that God could not be known. Let us make no mistake. The doubt and despair of our age could never be cured by the mere band-aid of a fideistic belief untethered to reason, nor the mere band-aid of a man-made euphoria or delusional nihilism that only pretends to be happy. Nope. This despair can only be satisfied by a certain knowledge that the truth the mind desires to see does, in fact, exist. When the mind looks in wonder upon the world, it does not look into an empty void. It looks into a reality that is laden with meaning. When the mind looks in wonder upon the world, it does not merely see a collection of subhuman facts and measurements, nor does it see at best a reflection of its own consciousness. It sees a nature with a dynamism, a reason, a law, and a life of its own that's to be known. When the human person stares upon reality, he sees not nothing looking back. He sees something looking back. In fact, he sees someone looking back. It's the face of truth himself. And this is no silent stare. It is an inviting stare, a welcoming stare that says, please come forward. You're on the right track. Please keep searching. God is not distant. He is near. God is not inaccessible. He is intimately available and ready to grant a knowledge of himself to all who seek him with humility. Now, I can never be completely satisfied in this life. My mind can never completely rest, not here. I cannot see Jesus Christ yet and have that vision in which alone my mind will rest. I cannot embrace him and hold his face and kiss his face. Not yet. Not on this side of death. But what I can do on this side of the veil is study. I can study all that is true. And here and now, in that study of truth, begin to distinguish what the features of that face might one day look like. I can here and now begin to appropriate to my soul in the study of truth what that awesome presence might one day be like. What a great gift to be able to study philosophy and theology. What a privilege to study philosophy and theology. And this is why what we do at the DSPT is so important. The DSPT assumes that the drive of the mind to ask ultimate questions is not in vain. Rather, it is the heart of who we are as human persons. The DSPT assumes that faith and reason go together, and neither one of them ought to be checked at the door when I enter the classroom. The DSPT assumes that I am not the creator and master of my own reality, as from some self-enclosed sadness, but am rather the servant of a truth that reveals itself to me, a truth in which we all live and move and have our being, a truth that unites us all. The DSPT has taught me that there is joy in seeking that truth, joy in discovering it wherever it may be found, joy in learning it from another, and joy in giving to another that which I have learned. The DSPT has taught me, because of all of this, that the real mark of a faithful academic, the fingerprint of a student of philosophy and theology, is not just being right all the time, is being thankful all the time, and being humble all the time. It is to turn the act of study into a sacrifice of thanksgiving back to God. And so how will we respond? Well, Father Chancellor, Father President, professors, your investment in us will not go without return. On behalf of the student community, I can promise you that we will take what you have given us and, in turn, hand it on to others. Your work, your love, your dedication will likewise not remain isolated in a self-enclosed epoch soon to be forgotten, but will bear fruit in the future. Future ages will see your work as one more link in that chain of wisdom and truth, that tradition that has come to us from centuries past and will, without fail, extend to centuries to come. But even more than influencing the future, right here in our own day, your work has changed us. You have helped us on that journey towards seeing the face of truth and have made us more of who we are supposed to be in that vision. Not only for ourselves, but who we are supposed to be for our families, for our communities, for Berkeley, California, and who we are supposed to be for the world. And finally, fellow students and friends, keep studying. Remember that the journey towards the face of truth begins here, but it cannot fully end here, not on this side, not yet. Let what you have gained here be a foretaste of what is to come. Keep studying. Keep studying. And let the DSPT be the beginning of a life of contemplation unto greater union with God. Thank you all very much.